Welcome back. As referenced at a prior time on this program, Donald Trump held a press conference earlier today to answer questions about donations he made to veterans organizations. But that was not the only topic covered. Let's take a look at tonight's Prime playback.
I have raised a tremendous amount of money for the vets, almost $6 million, and more money is going to come in, I believe, over the next little while, too. But I've raised almost $6 million. All of the money has been paid out, and I'm going to give it to you in a second. In fact, I brought a list just in case that question was asked. But the money has been paid out. I have been thanked by so many veterans groups throughout the United States. One gentleman called me up recently crying that out of the blue he got a check for $100,000. But I have been thanked by so many groups, great veterans groups. And by the way, outside you have a few people, they're picketing. They're sent there by Hillary Clinton, and they're picketing that the money wasn't sent. The money's all been sent. I wanted to keep it private. If we could, I wanted to keep it private because I don't think it's anybody's business if I want to send money to the vets. But I have to say this. I raised close to $6 million. It'll probably be over that amount when it's all said and done. But as of this moment, it's $5.6 million. When it started, this started with a speech in Iowa when I said, let's raise some money for the vets. And it went up from $1 million to $2 million to $3 million. And it now ends up to be almost $6 million. And again, I think we can even do better than that. When I raise money for the veterans, and it's a massive amount of money, find out how much Hillary Clinton's given to the veterans, nothing. And then I see a few guys standing out there. They don't even know what they're there for. They have no idea. They're there because Hillary Clinton's campaign sent them. And actually, I think it was you or one of you that found out that they actually were with Hillary Clinton's campaign, which was interesting, but I wasn't surprised. I don't want the credit for it, but I shouldn't be lambasted. And remember this. So out of the almost $6 million that was raised, not one penny did I take for administration costs. That's unheard of. Okay.
Well, why do you continue to attack the press? In all fairness, when you talk about not wanting to get credit for this, you did host a very public fundraiser that was televised.
How else am I going to raise the money?
Sorry?
How else am I going to raise the money?
What I'm asking, I guess, is when you did this fundraiser, you did it was televised, you were doing
Sure.
it, instead of doing the debate, it received wide attention. Some
Sure.
say that it may have helped your
I would have given this out, just so you understand, until I was criticized. So I'm the only one in the world could raise almost $6 million for the veterans, have uniform applause by the veterans groups, and end up being criticized by the press. Yes, I made a speech, and during my speech I said, let's raise a little money for the vets. It turned out to be a lot of money, not a little money. I've gotten to know Al a little bit, primarily through New Hampshire, where we had great victories. But he showed up this morning because he was upset, and many of the other groups are very upset. They received $100,000 in the mail. They didn't even know what it was for. It was from me. Other groups received $200,000, $250,000, $250,000. They didn't know what it was for. And I have, again, upstairs, I have received phone calls with people crying. I have received letters, heartfelt letters. And, you know, it really, the bad part about the dishonesty of the media is that people like me will be inclined not to do it anymore. Because why should you raise $5.6 million, and I think I'll go over $6 million pretty easily. Nobody said that we started this out as a small little project where it was less than $1 million because it just kept mushrooming and building and building, but nobody talks about that. So we raised $5.6 million. We have so many happy groups, so many happy veterans. And then I see these guys, these Hillary Clinton people outside. And now, of course, they don't know the extent. They probably figured, based on reading the press, that Trump didn't raise this kind of money. But we raised a lot, and I'll be raising more, and we'll be sending it to other people as we get along. I think it's a very tough call. It was amazing because there were moments with the gorilla, the way he held that child. It was almost like a mother holding a baby. It looked so beautiful and calm. And there were moments where it looked pretty dangerous. I don't think they had a choice. I mean, probably they didn't have a choice. You have a child, a young child is at stake, and it's too bad there wasn't another way. I thought it was so beautiful to watch that, powerful, almost 500-pound gorilla, the way he dealt with that little boy. But it just takes 1 second. It's 1 second. It's not like it takes place over, well, he's going to do it in 30 seconds from now. It just takes one little flick of his finger, and I will tell you, they probably had no choice. I'm in favor of fixing the VA healthcare. VA is one of the great catastrophes in this country, what's going on. You look at what's happening in Phoenix and different places throughout the country where they're catching people stealing and they don't even fire them, where people are waiting 5 days, 6 days, 7 days online. They're dying while they wait online. And I am in favor of, if they can't get to a doctor within a reasonable period of time, they're going to go see a doctor and the country's going to pay for it. They're going to go to a private doctor or a public hospital or public doctor, but someplace that can take care of them immediately. We're losing thousands of people waiting online. And the Veterans Administration is run by Obama just as incompetently as he's running our country. You look at the TSA, you look at what's going on at the airports. And you look at that, okay? Just take a look at that. That's like the Veterans Administration. Nothing in our country works anymore. It's a mess. And maybe that's why I'm doing so well in the polls. Yes? No, it doesn't have to be privatization. No, it doesn't have to be privatization. What it has to be is when somebody's online and they say it's a 7-day wait, that person's going to walk over to across the street to a private doctor, be taken care of. We're going to pay the bill. And by the way, that's going to be a lot less expensive. And we'll check it out and be careful. But that's going to be a lot less expensive than what's going on. These people are living in hell. And Hillary Clinton said the Veterans Administration is working just fine. And the head of it, McDonald, said last week that waiting in line's not bad. Look at Disney World, okay? These are the kind of people we have running things. It's ridiculous. You have a party called the Democrats, and they're going to have to make that choice. I think it's probably going to be her because it's rigged. And I think if you people will say, I'm the one that came up with the term rigged, I used it for myself, except I won by such big margins that the fact that the whole system is rigged on both sides. Same with the Republicans, just less obvious. The Democrats with the super, with the whole super delegate thing, it's ridiculous. So I think that they're going to have to make that determination. If you're asking me who I'd prefer running against,
Do you think she committed a felony?
I think what she did was very bad. And I think a lot of people have done a lot less than her, and their lives have been destroyed.
That's the way Donald Trump sees it. Now, for the way you see it, your comments via social media. Several of you writing in about Mitt Romney and his curious stance in this presidential race. Daryl sees it this way. The real motivation is Romney's jealousy against Trump for succeeding with voters when he failed to make the grade with both conservative and evangelicals when he was running for president. Romney's lack of unity to his party is why Trump is electable, when hypocrite Romney was not. Don also has a message for Mitt Romney. Don says, I'm a big fan of Mitt's, but a bigger fan of Donald Trump. He's what the country needs right now. If he does half of what he says he will do, this country will be much better off than with crooked Hillary or the last 7 years of President Obama. Mitt, you're a sharp guy, but a vote for anyone but Trump is a vote for crooked Hillary. And this final message from Sandra, very impressed with how Donald Trump handled this morning's press conference on donations made by Mr. Trump to various veterans organizations. She writes, thank you, Donald Trump, for giving the dishonest mainstream news media a punch in their dishonest news reporting noses this morning while you reported the donations given to veterans organizations. You, sir, are a true American patriot. And before we go, have you seen this photo making the rounds on the internet? Our producers found it and wanted us to share it with you. It reads as follows. President Kennedy put a man on the moon. President Obama put a man in the ladies' room. That is historically accurate. Well, agree or disagree, we would love to know what you think. That's what we do every night here. Of course, you see the phone numbers right there where you're always invited to call in live on our program. But don't forget about the internet, y'all. Newsmaxtv.com/comments. Or if you want to use Twitter, it's twitter.com/Newsmax Prime. That'll do it for this special 2-hour edition of Newsmax Prime. We'll see you tomorrow night. Stay brave, stay free, stay tuned.